Good morning. Today we come to the end of our study of St. Paul's writings with a reading from the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verses 16 and 17. And I will turn you around so you can read the text as I translated it. St. Paul writes, "The cup of blessing that we bless, is it not a sharing in the blood of Christ? The bread that we break, is it not a sharing in the body of Christ? Because there is just the one loaf. All of us, many as we are one body, because we all share the same loaf of bread." In other places, Paul reminds the early Christians of the deep symbolism of the Eucharistic bread and wine, the spiritual metaphor that places us in direct communion, not only with the historical Jesus, who on the same night that he was betrayed took bread, etc., the same Jesus who died on the cross as a proof of the depth of God's love for benighted humans, but also in the most intimate of communions Christians continue to have with the resurrected and still living Lord. Today, Calvinistic and conservative evangelical Christians will only acknowledge the memorial aspect of the Eucharist. They are responding only to a few of the words of Jesus at the Last Supper, reminding the disciples that whenever they do this with the bread and the cup, they are doing it in his memory. But in Paul's mind, it is much more to it. There is much more to it than that. What it isn't is a kind of magical or mysterious change in the bread and wine themselves. The bread remains bread. The wine remains wine. The late medieval talk about the outward appearance and the inner meaning of things should never have been interpreted in this way. So we are not cannibals, eating flesh and drinking blood. This is not a physical communion, but a communion of mind and heart. It is not just a remembering of Jesus, but owning that we are his and he is ours. Anglicans and Methodists even pray that we may dwell in him and he in us, which is about right. He needs a voice on earth, a will, and hands and feet to do that will. And these are properties of his body, the church. That's why the words spoken as we eat are not "this bread represents Christ's body" while we are remembering him, but instead words that remind us just what we are, the body of Christ. So we come to the end of our exploration of St. Paul and how he helped us to understand Jesus before any of the Gospels were written down. And from tomorrow, for about 25 days, we shall look at the words of Jesus in the Gospels during his teaching ministry, and particularly we shall discover how to read parables. And I look forward to that. I'll see you tomorrow.